Life is hectic, demanding, and doesn't stop. When honest with ourselves, we must confess we often don't know what the hell we're doing. The Larkcast is an ongoing conversation about the inclusive and mischievous nature of God's presence through the lens of all the things that make up this phenomenon we refer to as life. Astonishing grace and refreshing honesty collide right here for your weekly encouragement. Very exciting times around the Johnson houses this week.
Yep.
Memorial Day, coming off Memorial Day weekend. Got some house projects done. School's back in the swing. But the thing that's probably really got our spirits up, which is something we've been praying for, man, since last year, is
You've been praying and fasting for it, though.
yeah.
You have?
The fasting. No.
Oh.
I was saying, yeah, like I like to say, yeah, when you get questions like that, because if they don't press you like you just did, it makes it sound like you've been doing that. But you don't feel guilty for lying, because really, like deep down inside, I was just saying, yeah, in response to like, yeah, like I'm thinking about that.
Right.
Or like, yeah, that's a valid point. But yeah, not too good at the fasting thing,
But you've been praying for it.
yeah, man. And it's been a long time coming, dude. Just
And by praying, you mean it's been a groaning in your heart
yeah.
that the Spirit interpreted as a prayer because God's good. Because you, in your groaning, didn't think to yourself to take the time to say a proper prayer. So the Spirit just sort of like translated that thing in your hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you tell everybody what your prayer was?
No, man, I've
Did
been
you say
just
that?
kind of keeping it like close to my chest. You know what I mean? Like just something I didn't want to really share everywhere, because it just always leads to conversations everywhere, everywhere you go. Like, dude, I'm praying for you, man. And then they bring up the hurt and those feelings that come with the hurt. And you kind of have to relive,
So
what I mean?
you had that whole intro, but you don't want to say what you've been praying for or what you're excited about this weekend?
Oh no, I could say it now. I was saying that
Yeah,
I've
well, you
kept
haven't
it
said it.
close to the chest, man, all this time. But yeah, dude, FSU football's back. Yeah,
They
got
beat
us good, man.
Alabama, which was huge for them because they like what they have like 2 wins last year?
Only team in history to go 13-0 in the regular season to 2-10
Yeah,
the
13-0 to
following
2-10, and you kicked your season off with a bang. That's great. It's great.
Yeah, man. Like the Lord is good. He has heard the cries of my heart and the depression of my soul.
The
Since
lingering spirit of Bobby Bowden is good. He's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, man,
great. And then the next day, your linebacker got shot and he's in critical condition. Like, I text you yesterday. I'm like, because the big game around here was Notre Dame versus Miami, the Catholics versus the convicts. Is what they call it.
Oh yeah.
And I texted you yesterday. I'm like, bro, beating Alabama, and then the next day your linebacker's in critical condition after getting shot. That's so Miami.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the worst part of that one was the headline, FSU linebacker shot while visiting family. I was like, oh man. Oh man.
Sheesh, man. You're
Yeah.
like, and big win. I'm gonna go down, see some family, celebrate with everybody, see grandma,
Yeah.
see all the cousins. You end up catching one, dude, to the chest, and now you're in critical condition. It's sad. I don't mean to
Oh,
laugh.
yeah, no, it is 100% like sad and
Was he a
praying for
starter?
him is now,
Hmm.
freshman, but
Oh, well then, yeah, we could laugh about it. Just kidding. Just, these are jokes, people. These are jokes.
Yes. Yes, we do have a comedian license here. So yeah, it's sad, but apparently he's okay. So yeah, man. All is well in the world.
That's
All
good.
is well.
Nice. I
The
like
things are
it.
spinning in the right direction again.
Yes. Well, my team, the Bears, they kick off on Monday night, and no one knows what to expect. And to my credit, I've been I've been working on like not letting the Bears like take too much, emotional space up in my
Mm,
life because they
yeah.
always disappoint. And I take time on Sundays to watch these games, and I put a lot of, time, effort, invite some friends over, and I invite friends over, and it's exciting. Like first quarter, it's like, all right, like, we'll get it going. Maybe a little bit something to celebrate in the second. You're kind of hopeful that at halftime it might, turn around. By the third quarter,
Yeah.
I'm kicking everyone out of my house. Like I don't even want to see anybody. I'm like, just leave. Just everybody leave.
Yep.
So that's obviously an exaggeration, but I'm like, you know what, dude? Like this year, like, yeah, I'm gonna watch and stuff like that, but I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I've been kind of keeping my emotions in check. Normally, I'm like, instead of not even drinking Kool-Aid, dude, I'm just like dumping the powder and the scoop thing directly into my mouth. Like that's usually what I'm doing. Um, so
So
we'll
you've been
see.
working on yourself.
I've been I've been working on myself. I've been guarding my heart, dude.
Yes.
I've been guarding my heart.
Yes. It's like, you know what? I have prayed for peace as a Bears fan my whole life. And now it's time to just take the reins. Time to take the reins.
Yeah.
Start making some fruit here, some patient fruit.
Yep. That's exactly what I did. I don't know
Dude,
if
that,
it's I don't know if it worked, but I don't know if it's working as much as it's appearing as though it's working as I talk about it, which is the most important thing when it comes to
yeah,
progress. Just the mere conversation of it, the mention of it, the fact that you're mindful of it, it pretty much
yeah,
equates to it being a reality and you actually doing it.
yeah, yeah, it does. That was a major aha I can remember for me, man, in the church world was, and I'm just going to put this on myself because it wasn't just something I was noticing among everyone else, which I was, but also something I was noticing in myself was like, man, we get together like in these groups, right? Communities, they all got different names. Um, outside the Sunday service because, relationships matter and this is where we grow and, blah, blah, blah. But you would get together in these circles and you would talk about the scriptures, right? You would talk about these things.
Yeah.
And then everyone, myself included, would live your life feeling like this was your reality because you just got together and talked about it every week. But it
Yeah.
was never your reality. Like you were still like impatient and greedy and selfish and oh man,
Yeah.
the mind plays tricks on us.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, how much of, you know, when you walk away from the formalized church, you have a lot of these environments, which is just, sort of, it's either a one-way conversation through a sermon, which I'm not necessarily knocking like talks or whatever. Um, and then you had like these, small groups. And people are like, oh man, like what are you gonna do? You're like walking away from, the church. And we used to just hype ourselves up so much just with the mere mention of certain things. It
Mm,
wouldn't even necessarily translate. We all struggled like everybody else, but we felt like we were so mature and we felt like we were like so there just because we talked about it. And then if you talked about it for with like a theological framework, then it was even more spiritual.
yeah.
Um, and
That's
it's
when you're,
like, yeah, so it's like, you know, all the stuff I have now, now I'm not really getting bogged down by heavy, weighty, theological minutia.
mm,
Um, it's just here I am as a dad and as a business owner and as a neighbor, and a lot of my prayers are more simple. They're relational. Um, there's I don't have a lot of these occasions where I can sort of convince myself, that I'm in and that I'm good. And it's really just Jesus out here, dude, outside of the formalized church, bro. It's just him. That's it.
just life with Jesus. That's a novel idea.
But I will say that I need to confess something. Um, I think what started out as maybe like a frustration um, with like the institution of it is sort of like translating to how I see and feel about like just church folks in general.
Mm.
Um, like, I'm just finding myself, excuse me, finding myself just like really like not liking church people,
Oh,
which is like, it's silly if I think about it, because it's like, it's all they know. It's what they've been handed. I lived it for years.
yeah,
I participated in it. So like when I talk myself through it from a logical standpoint, there's a lot of ways that I show myself like, and this is pretty silly, that
yeah.
you like kind of feel, this way. And me, I can kind of be like a little bit of an asshole. Um,
Not you.
so I find myself digging a little bit, you know.
Never seen you do that to anybody. Our travels across the country. Yeah,
So Jesus has been reminding me to just be nice and patient and kind and
yeah,
open-handed to church
yeah,
folks. I think you can still kind of like push and poke and get the conversation maybe started. But there's a way you could do it where it's like, gotcha, or like, you got an axe
yeah,
to grind versus like, hey, I'm bringing this up. There might be a little tension at first, but I mean good for you, in this, like how,
yeah.
Jesus would do that. He was always like the antagonist in the conversation. He's always getting to
Yes.
the point,
Yeah.
but you could
Yeah,
tell he loved and meant good.
there's a weird like dichotomy in in the Christian landscape, quotation marks, uh, where somehow being nice means, right, not being truthful. Being kind means, not bringing up anything that, might cause a little bit of a disruptance, you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
someone. And it's like, but Jesus is the embodiment of love and kindness. And that's exactly what he's doing in love. He's not dissing someone or removing them or telling them to go away. Right? I mean, he loves them more than they could even grasp. But to help them see something that's actually destructive, something that's keeping them from the very freedom that they were created to live in,
Mhm.
right? He holds mirrors up and he
Yeah.
asks questions that that bring a disruptance, right?
Yeah. And it's like I'm kind of almost treating some church folks like they're the ones like perpetuating the ideas that are holding them back and keeping them from being, free. When in fact they're just sort of, they're victims in a sense,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
just sort of like, blindly grabbing onto these things. And honestly, they probably have never even really heard another way. Um, but I was telling a couple friends, like this whole thing started for me from more of like a missional bent. I was just like, dude, like these people that I really have a heart for, they're never coming to this thing that I'm spending my entire week like prepping for.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, if I really have a heart to like have these conversations and be a this kind of friend to people, and it wasn't even like I want to like start a church, with
Hmm.
these people coming. It was more like I just wanted to have the conversation. So if it started more as like, kind of like a means to sort of be more available to them, or at least put myself in a place where the possibility of having those conversations was, then it was sort of Paul's words like, hey, to the Greek, I became a Greek, right? Like I can ebb and flow in these different environments where I was just like, my whole livelihood was based on this thing over here. And
Hmm.
now I feel like after God's reminded me that I'm just being a dick to church people. It's the other side, like to the Jew, I became a Jew. And it's like
Yeah.
he also knew how to like hang in some of those environments too without um unnecessarily bringing up like a stumbling block. Obviously, Jesus is a stumbling block. It needs to be discussed, but like unnecessarily or with
Yeah.
a heart that just means to hurt or whatever.
Yeah. I think the latter is the key. It's been my experience over the years. Because like you, right? Like I resigned from the church world because I'm looking at what Jesus is doing in the scriptures. I'm looking at what he called us to do, right? Invited us into in the scriptures. I don't find any of it in the formalized system. He didn't do this. He didn't create it. He didn't call for it. The early church didn't do it. So, there's this logical conclusion, okay, around that. But I would say it was the heartfelt drive that helped me see the logical conclusion. Because sometimes, you can present a logical case to somebody
Yeah.
and we still like our love for control, right? We'll always find some way to dismiss it and then justify, right? What offers us a handle.
Hmm.
And I did that for years. It wasn't until I realized like, okay, my heart is also though for all these people that are outside and uninterested. That's the vast majority of society. They're not coming to this thing.
Mhm.
Why am I spending all my time here? So I'm just saying like I share that with you in the Exodus. But I also can share with you like you eventually can find yourself very frustrated um as you're trying to bring, relief to people and then these people that you thought would join in on that work, right? That Jesus invites us into put up roadblocks, right?
Yeah.
And cause issues and then all of a sudden now you start to like you didn't leave the angry church guy, but but all of a sudden now you become like the angry ex-pastor.
Yeah.
And it's like you never intended to be there. It was
No.
never the plan. That's not why you left.
No.
But it's like in the encounters with that, with, the bubble, right? This like odd culture that you've stepped out of, and now you're looking back at it and you're just going like, how in the hell was I ever, right? But it's irrelevant. That's where you were, and
Yeah.
this is where you are now. And
Yeah, just like pastors never meant to go when they're going through seminary to go be the CEO of their local denomination or
right.
congregation or whatever, and leading a really weird community of people that don't know how to hang. Like they didn't intend to do that either.
Yep.
But here we both are.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with you. I would say it's probably been within like over the last year that I've be I've become indifferent to it. And it wasn't really something, that I sought out as much as it just kind of naturally happened. Call it work of the spirit, right? Actual fruit. I mean, I don't know. I still have my issues. Don't mishear me, but over the last year I felt like I've become indifferent to it. Like what the bubble is and what the bubble is saying has just become irrelevant for me.
Mhm.
It's like it's irrelevant. I I
Yeah, and it really is.
Yeah, my heart is for people who are weary
Hmm.
because that's what religion in all of its forms, whether it's in the name of God or in the name of there is no God, right? Or it's your work or sports or politics or whatever. I'm just saying religion's everywhere. It's a justifying,
Yeah.
right, system of our lives.
No, totally.
Uh, and I've just sort of found a peace with like, yeah, I think there's relief in Jesus. I think it's the only relief. And it seems like only the weary have ears to hear and eyes to see.
Yeah, it's like something I always remind
And
my,
just spend my time there.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good. Maybe one day I'll get there, brother. One day.
Oh, don't.
I'm
Like
just
I said,
playing.
don't mishear me in that.
I'm
Like
just playing.
I have found a freedom in it, but I get
No, but I
equally
love,
frustrated daily with
yeah,
the stuff that pops up in my feed, right? Because it's like, dude, this freaking Bozo the Clown over here once again just completely doing theological gymnastics to make his case of what the scriptures are saying that absolutely undoes who Jesus is and makes a mockery of the Trinity and then gets, 78,000 likes on it.
yeah,
And I'm just like inside I'm it's there's a there's a bit of a rage that can happen in those moments.
yeah.
You know? So I vacillate. I'm just saying there's a freedom to at least where I spend my time.
But no one's ever gonna rethink where they're at, by someone just being pissed on the other side of, a conversation,
No.
or you're like coming for their throat, that's the other thing. Um, so it's the kindness of the Lord that leads to repentance. We talk about repentance a lot on the Lark cast. It really is a changing of the mind of how we see the Father, to have Jesus' eyes for the Father. So if it's his kindness, then it's most likely going to be his kindness in and through us to
Yeah.
people. And I always remind my 19-year-old this. I'll remind both of us because we both have the same personality. Um, that the anger of man doesn't achieve the righteous things of God. I don't think Paul's saying like earning righteousness there. It just doesn't bring about anything
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it. Yeah, I was talking to a neighbor about this recently and
But I am an
I-
angry little elf, Russ. You need to pray for me in that. Oh,
yeah,
everybody can pray for me. So I'm gonna invite everyone to pray for me. I'm also gonna invite everyone to my birthday party this weekend. Please, please drive or fly to Crown Point. Come celebrate my 45th birthday. Yes, I throw a birthday party for myself every year, which for me is more an excuse to just pull my friends together. But I get the optics of it. I get it. So if you want to call me
yeah,
narcissistic or, full of myself, like I get it. I get
yeah. Well, brother, admittance is the first step towards
it.
what? Oh man. Yeah, I got your message about the birthday party. I was a little pissed, dude. I was a little pissed that you waited that you waited so long to put the word out because
Oh, dude,
when Krista read it first, you know me, dude, like confession, folks, my phone is not always by me. In fact, it's rarely by me. Like I text in bundles, you know what I mean? And then I'll just put it back down and do whatever I'm doing for the day and then pick it back up. So sorry for any sporadic correspondence. But so she read it to me and I was like, "Sweet, let's grab flights." Or let's just, jump in the car and we'll take Eli and we'll drive up. She goes, uh, here's the date. And I'm like, freaking A, dude. I'm hanging with a crew of larks, man, up outside Philadelphia.
oh yeah, yeah.
And I already had flights booked with Gerald and Peeps. And I was like, oh, because totally looking forward to hanging with them. But at the same
Maybe
time, I'm
next
like,
year.
dude,
Maybe my
don't want to miss the
50th.
don't want to miss the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll try to have fun without you.
It's gonna be hard.
It's going to be hard.
It's gonna be hard, man.
I'm not
There's
telling anybody that you're not coming though, because then they're going to be bummed ahead of time. I'd rather them find out when they get there.
It's almost like, yeah, you have to treat it like when like when the pastor's going to be away on vacation.
You can't let the cat out of the bag, dude.
You can't let everybody know that somebody else is going to be talking on Sunday.
You got to find out
The attendance is
when
going to drop.
head deacon Gary walks up. That's when you got to find out.
Yeah, man, these things are important.
They
But
are.
dude, I'm with you on that, man. I think that's
I
from
feel like it's a natural thing, though, right, Russ? Like to kind of go through, and it could be
100%.
like the stages of grief or whatever. Like I was just having this conversation with my mom because she tagged along. I went up to Chicago to get a Facebook Marketplace fine for my new office. Um, and she was just talking about how she really felt like the church really robbed her of a lot of years of
Yeah.
just being like herself. She felt like she couldn't go see Rush, when they came to town, when she was in her 30s or whatever. And,
That's a
and
sin in and
now,
of itself.
yeah, man, I mean, some people can really resonate with this if if you're somebody now in your 60s, or if you grew up like me, and you're in your 40s and had, as Nate Bargatze says, the most Christian of all the parents, the 90s parents, trying really hard, and James Dobson was telling them, don't let us play with the He-Man and all that kind of stuff.
It's true. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
I
she
hear the
just,
stories. That wasn't my parents. We
yeah,
had He-Man, so and my
yeah,
dad would have took us to a Rush concert, but
yes. And I love that. You look back on it now and it's just so silly, but man, it felt so urgent. It felt so urgent in the moment for her. So this like disillusionment comes, it's a good thing.
yeah,
And now she's, there's more freedom there for her. There's a lightness there. There's less spiritual anxiety there for you. But when you look back, you're like, dang man, like I got robbed a lot of just that's some basic sort of like, yeah, just like going and like rocking out to some Rush, dude.
yeah, yeah, man. It's.
So you could see how anger, it's easy. It's easy to get there. God help us. God help us all.
I think when you start to detox, right, like from that, just that addiction to self-justification, that right, that you've grown up within the system, and you start to detox from that. You start out with like a little bit of like shame and bitterness towards yourself, right? You got duped by it, or
Sure.
right, then there's the guilt if you
Yeah.
were like in our shoes where you let it, right? You're like you want to call up everybody and say, man,
Then there's that.
I'm so sorry. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, that faith that you keep talking about, I'm listening to you, and I'm just thinking to myself like, oh, this thing they keep like cherishing, it's not even faith.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't trust in who Jesus is for them. This is toil for an imaginary God that Jesus actually debunked, but we somehow like resurrected. And it's like, but I think you go through that, right? But then like maybe the next phase of it is you start to find yourself like angry with those that are now peddling the drug. And I think we can be angry at the peddling, right? There is such thing as a righteous anger, and amen for it. And but we definitely want to be able to walk like in that freedom, right? That dude, it's Jesus or bust. And thankfully, according to Galatians 2, it's Jesus. It's not the bust. And in the midst of it all, right, is some chaos, but he's still God and he's still good and he's still love, and we can we can bring a loving disruption as a good friend and not have to carry the weight, right?
Yeah.
That comes with it. And I think
Yeah.
that's
No,
why I
you
get
see it,
excited.
but it's like, I mean, the last podcast, you're like, mentioned in Romans 6, the good I want to do, I don't
Yeah.
do. I do. Like in my mind, I just imagine myself this like winsome, personality, bringing things up in like a playful way, like how a dad would, start to, maybe poke at, a new girlfriend that your son brings home or whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just to sort of break the ice,
Yeah.
and get the conversation.
Sometimes though, sometimes when those sons bring home the girlfriends, you have to be a little more blunt. I can remember one time like knocking on my son's door. He opens the door. Well, oldest, he goes, that was I wouldn't just show up unannounced, you know what I mean? And he's like, what's up? And I just remember saying, hey, that girl that came over? Yeah, yeah. She ain't it, bro.
She ain't it, bro.
She ain't it.
She ain't it.
There's some flags here.
Yes.
So
Well, no, like I don't have a
I'm
problem
just saying
being
that as a
blunt.
joke for sure.
Yeah, to
But
my
yeah,
sons. And I
yeah,
haven't
you
even
want to
started
be.
to navigate the boyfriends coming over because I had two boys first, boy, boy, and then girl, girl.
Oh
So,
yeah.
geez, I want to be on this. I want to be on this podcast. You know, yeah, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know how that one rolls, man.
Uh,
But it's there's a fun to be had, man. It's there's always a trickery tricky slope,
Trickery.
with
I like
within
trickery.
yeah, that's probably a good word for it. But I have found myself I have I have found myself reminding myself, as cheesy as that can sound, um, like, okay, walked away, raise support, have to live without a lot of times to have time because setting faith free from pressure and performance matters. And that's kind of what this is, man. Setting faith free from pressure and performance. And I believe that's where the work of just
And
helping people
potlucks.
find, yeah, relief in who Jesus is as friends, meals, right? Drinks. Man, especially with
Can you add a
no
third P to
strings,
that? The potlucks,
the potlucks.
pressure
Setting,
performance and potlucks.
I don't know, bro. I like some potlucks, man.
I know, but maybe, and that's the thing. Maybe it's just the vernacular. What if it's
Yeah.
just like the way it's just the way they talk about stuff? It's like, actually,
Hmm.
can we just say, hey, this is just getting together? Do we have to
Yeah.
call it fellowshipping?
It is
It's
yeah,
just a
dude.
weird culture, dude. It's just a weird culture.
It's cultish.
It's
Okay.
cultish.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say it. All right. I know some people are like, dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. And I'm like, man, I've led it. I've led it well. You led it
Yeah.
well. I hit the goals. I got the applause. I multiplied the things.
Mhm.
And I'm just telling you, man, looking back on it, while you're in the system, right? You're laughing at the Catholic or the high church, right? Or the Mormons. And of course, they're doing the same. But dude, they're all, it's always pointing to the others being a cult, but it's like, no, bro, this is a cult. I've got a friend recently that stepped away from the machine. I remember talking to him about that a year ago, and he told me I was crazy. And I said, well, dude, when you ever walk away from that system, okay, this thing that you are struggling with, but yet you find all these things that you still love about it, come to me 3 months later and tell me about your interactions with everybody. 3 months later, dude, he shows up and he's like, bro, like they argue with you, they're praying for you, they're concerned about you, they're knocking on your door, and then they just like all disappear. And when you see them, they act like they don't even like know you, or they treat you like you're standing there with a crack pipe in your hand. And I'm like, huh. So it's kind of what? And he goes, it it's like a cult, bro. And nothing shows it more than like what happens to you when you step away from it.
Yeah. Yep.
like how you're treated, how you interacted within it, and then how you're treated when you're not there.
So then that adds like another layer of difficulty to what we were talking about earlier, because it's not like they sort of like show up with the same sort of charity and goodwill too. There's
Hmm.
baked into the system, like when you walk away, there's immediate judgments and assumptions about who you are and where you might be in relationship to, whether you're
Yeah.
in or whether you're out.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
I mean, that that right there adds a whole other layer to it.
And now we're back to where we started
Now we're back
with
there where we
anger.
started, man. F these people.
Motherfuckers out here. I'm about to
Oh
blow
my
this
God.
thing up. Where's my phone at, dude? I'm about
I
to
will
record a
fight your
reel.
I will fight your pastor right now.
Call
Set
him
it
up.
up.
Call him up right now.
5:15 church parking lot. Meet me
Yeah.
there.
Tell him he's going to lose the theological debate and then he's going to lose his fight afterwards. Homie's leaving 0 and 2. I promise. Uh,
Uh,
I have been there, man. Some of these people out there just fighting us, wanting to. If you didn't laugh, you cry.
yeah, you don't laugh, you cry.
Yeah, but I think what we're trying to get at is there's a peace that surpasses understanding, right? That we already have, right? Galatians 2. There's a freedom. Like freedom isn't a goal that we're trying to achieve. It's not a finish line. It's actually the starting point. You started out free in Jesus because of Jesus.
Yes.
All you ever did by faith was just awaken to reality and start to now, hopefully, enjoy that freedom.
Yes. Yeah,
And
he's an actual savior, not a potential savior.
yes,
Um, salvation is something objectively that happened in Jesus, in the finished work of Jesus. There is a subjective, like maybe the scriptures do call it a salvation, awakening to it.
yeah,
Um, but when you see it in context,
yeah,
my faith didn't raise Jesus from the dead. He
no,
was raised from the dead by the power of God.
yeah, yeah. And the reason why you know, sometimes, you can be told that's heresy, but I always laugh and say, well, if your faith is what got you in, or if it's your faith that's what keeps you in, then guess what? You're self-justifying. You know that thing that you're like petrified of being, that thing that you refuse, right? The thing that you pride yourself on, that flag that you fly of faith alone by grace alone. Yeah. Yeah, that what you're saying, what you're believing isn't faith alone by grace alone.
Yeah.
That's you alone by your might alone that you're calling faith.
Well, yeah, it's yes, it's faith alone, but it's like, but let's talk about this faith. Is it really faith?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here's some of the things your faith needs, and it's not a static thing. It's a dynamic thing that needs
Yeah.
to be always showing up and always maintained and always checking boxes.
And I guess what we're saying is that the beauty here, the goodness here, the joy here, the peace here, right? It's knowing that salvation is a person, not a
Yes.
plan, not a process. It's a person. And what our faith is doing is allowing us to awaken to and to enjoy the reality of this living Savior.
Mm.
And I think what we have to do is just keep encouraging one another, right? Um, and those around us, man, that the fighting the good fight of faith is not trying to become something more than you are. It's trying to actually just learn to be a creature, a human who's was made to be dependent upon a savior and to enjoy the beauty of that dependence, that relationship.
Yeah.
And if
Yes.
that's the case, then we can look at things that are off and we can be bothered by them, and we can hopefully bring a winsome and loving, right, word of truth disruptance to them and inviting others into the party. But yeah, man, that the hard part is not getting bogged down from the naysayers to where you yourself start to forget that you're at a party.
Yeah. But
That's
just like almost every
that's the
party
ride,
that
man.
you went
That's the
to in high
ride.
school, there's usually a fight. Sometimes fighting the good fight means fighting a small group leader every once in a while, you know?
Let's just
Just
be
saying,
honest. It's
just
gonna it's if you
be
want
open to it.
eyeballs on what's happening,
Be open
that's
to
the
it.
way to do it. be, be be open, my friends.
Just be open to it.
When somebody says 3 o'clock in the parking lot, just be open.
Be open. Just leave that schedule open. You might have to go fight somebody. It could be a deacon, an elder, a pastor, a small group leader. Dude, it could be just a volunteer
But every now and then,
every now and then.
somebody needs a smack.
See y'all.
Peace, friends.